I'll wait till more people get on, Andy, but I'm going to share the link for Climb for Hope as
Awesome.
well.
Thank you. Thank you. We have some great, awesome climbs this year.
Karen. Deborah, how are you?
Good morning, everybody. I'm fine, thank you.
Jim, how are you?
Hey, Jim.
Good morning.
I got to thank
How's
Jim
everyone?
again for recommending. He's like, hey, got to get in touch with Andy. So appreciate that. We got him.
Oh my God, Jim's here. Awesome.
Hey, Andrew, how are you?
Dude, I bring you to all my speeches. I really appreciate when this whole Zoom thing is over. I'm in trouble because I don't know how you can continue to follow me around the country.
I'm a groupie.
We love it.
Those who can't climb, follow.
Exactly, right?
Check my spam folder.
All right, Alexa, stop.
Okay. 9 o'clock, we'll give it another minute and we'll get this party started. Kind of a bittersweet day for me, but I'm very excited.
What's going on?
It's my last monthly momentum meeting, man. Andrew, you're my crescendo.
Oh,
Oh,
boy.
man.
And the funny thing is I've known you probably longer than I've known most of the people on this call. How funny is that?
Yeah.
So why is that, Kiefer?
Yeah,
Well, this is my last official meeting as a president of Bond. We're doing the Zoom call, I think. So it's kind of exciting.
But you're not like leaving Bond.
No, no,
Okay.
no,
You
I'm
made
just
it sound like you're like out of
Yeah.
here.
recycled.
that's what it sounded like, Kiefer.
So now you're gonna be like one of us, just a little
Yes,
peon
yeah.
in the cog in the wheel.
Kiefer's going to come back as president after Kevin's term.
No, I hope not. It's going to be somebody more famous than me, that's for sure.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, Denise.
So I heard you're helping some wonderful friends of mine, the Asadis.
Yes, I just met with Jordan yesterday.
Oh, you helped him to
Hey.
get help him too.
Well, he met me there.
Oh,
Ron was at work, so
got it.
he met me, and I think we're going to try and do it this weekend.
I think so too. He called me last night, so I think I'm fine with it. It's good with me. Thank you again. Sam
Sure.
is awesome. I use him all the time.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yes,
Well,
he is.
He's getting old though. Look out, he just had a birthday.
Yeah.
That's a perfect segue, right, Sam? Into getting the meeting started, so we can't dwell on that. It's a big day today, monthly momentum meeting. Gosh, it's like kind of full circle, I think. I think this is probably like the anniversary of the monthly momentum meetings. It was either April, May or June last year we started this stuff. So because of COVID, we kind of transitioned from meeting in person to meeting in Zoom. And I'm very excited to introduce Andrew Berger to everybody on the call. Andrew is a great Baltimore guy, right, Andrew? I mean, you,
Pretty much. Not,
Yeah.
not born here, but raised here. Yes. Spent my
Yeah.
400 years here.
yeah. So I'm gonna let Kevin do the formal introduction to Andrew since he teed all this up. But you know, I've known Andrew for a long time. His former brother-in-law and I are really, really good friends and race cars together and all that kind of good stuff. So he was always at the birthday parties and when the kids were little and things like that. So I know Andrew's a great entrepreneur. He's got a lot of balls in the air and he's done some fantastic stuff for a lot of great organizations in Baltimore. So Kevin, without further ado, take it over, man.
Absolutely. Well, welcome everybody. Great to see you this Thursday morning. Excited to have Andrew Berger with us this morning and appreciate him being here. He's like the most interesting man, not even just in Maryland. He's one of the most interesting guys you're going to meet. And, you know, as far as Kiefer touched on, great entrepreneur, great philanthropist, business leader, person, and just inspirational. And I don't want to cover the highlights because I want to let Andrew cover those, but from today's meeting, I think you'll definitely take away some inspiration. I've heard Andrew talk a couple times, and again, just really excited to have him here. And I actually just finished reading his book, Carrying a Flag from Pain to Passion. It's awesome. So I'll put the link in there for that. And then also one of the things that Andrew has done, they've raised over $850,000 for breast cancer and MS research, and just doing amazing things. So without further ado, I'll let Andrew take it over. And again, Andrew, thank you for being here with us today.
Thanks for the introduction. Thanks for having me this morning, and inviting me back. And Kiefer, thanks, congratulations, and good luck to you. It's funny you mentioned, knowing my relatives so well and believing that I have so many balls in the air. I do. I keep dropping them all. So I just hired a star intern yesterday. Her name's Callie Bunting. So I feel like I'm organized for the first time in years now that Callie started with us. So
He's first class.
yeah, she's a great kid. Great kid. Thank you guys for hosting me and for letting me come to talk to your group this morning on Momentum. This is Kiefer's last meeting, and I want to send him out on a high note. And I feel like I'm going to be kind of hopefully famous as well, because I hope this is your last virtual speaker. Hope you guys are back in person, drinking coffee together next month or shortly thereafter. And as we reemerge from COVID. It's kind of like the cicadas, right? We had this period of hibernation, and it's time to come out and do what we do when we come out of hibernation. But I kind of like the analogies a little bit more of a butterfly, where we kind of come out of our cocoons and become a somewhat of a different species. And that's what I'm hoping we get from COVID. We went through this awful, awful period, not just as a community, not just as a state, not just as a country, but as a world. Everybody on Earth went through this together, and hopefully it gave us an opportunity to think about ourselves and reemerge as so we want to be this time. We've all made mistakes, leave those in the past, and what butterfly do we want to be when we emerge? And so I'm hoping that you'll get kind of inspiration to do that, as that we're all become vaccinated and we go back to meeting in person. So with that, I think I know how to share my screen. Right? Oh, did I do it? I do it wrong.
Yep, you got it.
We're good?
Yep.
Just find the play button now, right? There it is. So as we talked about, I want to talk about going from pain to passion, and this is kind of, again, sticking with the COVID theme. It was awful. It was terrible. But it also at the same time gave us so many opportunities. And what I've learned in my life is that every pain point becomes an opportunity to find your passion. We've been stuck in our houses and our cocoons for 13, 14 months. And what do we discover about ourselves, and what do we want to change about ourselves as we emerge? And what did that pain cost us? And so the lessons that I've learned in my life, I've kind of learned from climbing mountains. And so what I've done is kind of applied those same mountains that I've learned, same lessons that I've learned mountain climbing, and applied them to my business and personal lives, and kind of made me who I am today. And so the three really big lessons that I've learned in the mountains, and so I learned more, but the three of them that we only have time for today in 30 minutes is know your why, go fast and light, and get comfortable being uncomfortable. And then I added this fourth one in hopes we have time, but I'm speaking to the University of Baltimore, and they always say, well, what's another pointer you have from your book? And that the one I learned that I give to the university, to undergrads or graduate students, this is find yourself a guide. Students, and we forget this as business people and as leaders, we're often shy to ask for help. We're the big CEOs, we're powerful, we have no weak points, but find yourself a guide, find yourself a mentor. And, I realize I've got so many weaknesses, and I'm the first one, little help over here. And so I always have a guide when I'm climbing. I'm a horrible climber. I'm not good. I just love it. So I do it, but I can't, I'm so bad that I need to have a guide with me. I got to have somebody who makes my coffee.
Can you see if
who-
Capo can go out? He keeps standing by the door.
I got to have somebody making my coffee. There's Ricky. My backpack's a mess. Ricky's always my guy. And then, so I learned that. But then also in business, when I started being more organic, I reached out to a guy named Seth Goldman, who started Honest Tea, which was like the first non-sugar tea out there that was all organic. And then when I started the first organic yogurt drink with no added sugar, he was the first guy I called, and he was a super mentor to me and always great to me. So that's an extra fourth piece of advice that I'll want to pass on for free today. But what I wanted to talk to you about is the kind of the challenges that I've had in my life and what those meant to me. The woman on the upper left was my mother. Her name was Brana, and she died when I was just a year old. So I've got no memories. I don't know who anything about. I didn't know anything about her, and have no memories. I had an older sister who was a year older, so she was 2 at the time. My dad was about 27, so here he was, age 27, a widower with 2 kids, trying to, this is in the 1960s, so being a single parent was challenging, and kind of devastated that his best friend, his college sweetheart, passed away suddenly. The guy on the right is kayaking with me, is my dad. We were super, super, super close. Not just because of what we went through, but because of all that. Then he died when I was 31 years old. He was 58 years old. He died on the operating table at Hopkins, undergoing a second bypass. And then the woman on the lower left, my sister Jody, super close, just a year apart, inseparable after all the things we had gone through. My best friend in the whole world was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer when she was 40 years old. And then died at age 45 when I was a year younger than her, leaving behind an amazing husband and 3 kids under the age of 13. That was a huge loss, losing my best friend. I married the gorgeous woman on the bottom right, my best friend, my new best friend, the love of my life. We got married on September 30th, 2007. Less than 6 months later, on February 26, 2008, she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. 6 months into our marriage, of the dreams of literally climbing mountains, we had climbed Mount Cotopaxi together, at 19,400 feet. We had climbed Mount Shasta together. We were just exploring the world together. And within 6 months, she basically could barely walk around the block. She couldn't walk a mile. Her climbing was over. But the worst part of that day on February 26, 2008, was when the doctor sat us down and said, "Jen, you've got a bad case of multiple sclerosis. I can keep you out of a wheelchair, but you've got to get on this drug right here and not come off." And what that means to you is that you can't have kids. Jen's like, "Forget that. I want the wheelchair option. My mission in life is to have kids and to raise healthy kids. So you can't tell me that I can't have my dream in life at age 34. All those challenges that I've had around me were terrible. But all those pain points led to me, to helping me find my passion and my reason for being on this earth. Mark Twain once said, the 2 most important days in a person's life, the day that they are born, and the day they figure out why. And because of all these challenges and obstacles that I've had in my life, I know my why. And I've known it for almost 20 years. And so that has been a tremendous gift and helping me transform that. And so I realized that my purpose in life is to take a bite out of disease so that families can have more fulfilling lives. So I used all my resources, whether it was raising money or working on a really healthy product, I wake up excited to get out of bed every single day to raise money for Jody's Climb for Hope so we can find a cure for MS, to find a cure for breast cancer, and use my day jobs to help healthy food companies get more product on the shelf. And so that gives meaning to my life every day. So we talked about Jody's Climb for Hope. After my sister was diagnosed with breast cancer, we started this nonprofit 501c3 that we've now raised over $850,000 for research at Hopkins. And one of the earliest things we funded was immunology, which nobody had ever heard of when we first started. And not that we created it, but we helped give the seed money to help it get beyond its infancy. And so knowing that we can play a role in curing these diseases is an amazing gift that I've been given. So we were climbing in Iceland, and that's when I discovered skyr, which is similar to Greek yogurt. It's really high in protein, has no bad fat, and we added no sugar. And so we got this on shelf. We got it into Whole Foods, Wegmans, Publix, Kroger, all these amazing national distribution from Florida to Alaska. And so our mission was to take a bite out of disease. It was really healthy, with high in protein, all organic, and no added sugar. And we gave 1% of sales to Jody's Climb for Hope. And all that energy I had behind it helped us make it the 5th fastest growing organic and natural brand in 2017. So the lessons that I learned climbing, I applied to be more organic and to my personal life. And that's one of the reasons that we had the success that we did at Be More Organic, which is Know Your Why. We kind of talked about that. I figured out what my why was. And so this idea came to me of knowing your why on Kilimanjaro. So here's our group. So on Kilimanjaro, it's a 19,400 feet, highest point in Africa. And it was 6 days up and 2 days down for us. And we got started with this other group who kept leapfrogging each other. So we would pass them, they'd pass us. We had just idle conversation, nothing significant. But then we got back down, got a shower, able to have a really nice cocktail on this patio with a fire overlooking the mountain. And we saw the other team there. We caught up and I said, hey, how'd you guys do? And he said, well, 12 to 24 of us summited. And climbing is not a competitive sport. So I was like, well, gee, what happened? They said, well, Billy's feet got tired, so Jane took him down. And Tommy, Billy's feet got tired, it got cold, and Jane took him down. And Tommy's was just tired, and Bobby took him down. And I'm thinking, we have flags in our pack that say, stay strong, JB. Hoping, because my sister was still alive, we wanted to give her hope that she could overcome obstacles. We had thousands of donors that had given us money in hopes that we could raise money fast enough to cure breast cancer before they lost a loved one. We had people watching us. We had loved ones that were sick, and we had their flags in their pack. We had our thank you flag. We had our logo. We weren't going to let cold feet or tired bodies stop us from the goal, from reaching the highest point in Africa. We had people vomiting. We had people with altitude sickness that had so many challenges. And we were safe, mind you. We would never ever bring somebody up there who was ill, but altitude sickness wasn't going to stop them. My sister, along with millions of other people with cancer, undergoing chemotherapy or puking daily, and for 18 hours we suffered. It's the least we could do. My wife feels like she's carrying a 40-pound pack every day. If I couldn't struggle to the summit of a mountain on my own volition, nothing, I would do her injustice. Carrying those flags was so important to us, and that gave us a mission. And I applied that to Be More Organic. You know, what is the mission of this business? And at Be More Organic, it was to take a bite out of disease. We'd get emails from people who are undergoing stomach stapling surgery and say, thank you. You saved my life. I couldn't keep anything down. This is the only thing I can get down. You saved my life. We needed something high in protein and low in sugar. This was it. We had other people saying, thank you. Thank you, Andy. My uncle is going through cancer and he can't keep anything down. This is the only sustenance. And it's providing him protein. We weren't going to let anything stop us. We weren't going to let a supplier issue stop us, because every single person knew why we're carrying those flags. Every single person knew our mission, from the intern to all the employees, to our suppliers, to our buyers, to the end consumers. I had Tom Crowder, the most important, powerful man in dairy in North America. He was the buyer for Kroger, over 2,400 stores he bought for $1 billion of dairy. And I'm a little nobody. He sent me an email every August saying, hey, Andy, I'm getting ready to do the MS 150 ride again this year. Just thinking of you and your wife. Tom Crowder, he knew my mission because I put it in every email. We put it in all of our communication, on our website, on our bottle. Everybody knew the mission. And when we had a problem with our bottles, Amanda worked around the clock for 3 days. She offered to drive down and go pick them up, because everyone knew how important it was to keep those things on shelf. Know your why. The other thing I learned and we applied was go fast and light. Go fast and light. And this is particularly important in the mountains. In the mountains, the weather usually comes in the afternoon. And so you kind of need to be out of there when a snowstorm picks up or rain or whatever the weather that's coming in. You got to get up the mountain and back down. And as those who have suffered through my book know, you can't bring a French press with you. You got to go light. And also in the afternoon, a lot of the bridges over the crevasses are snow bridges, and they melt, and you don't want to be standing on top of this when it melts. So you want to get up and come down quickly. And also, here's a place on the Cathedral Gap of Camp Muir on Mount Rainier, which is 14,500 feet. Not the highest mountain, but it's one of the most technical and most epic climbs in the lower 48. And see the stretch, you see that the line of through the snow, that's the trail. And above that is the white rock, the red rock that tends to lose boulders on you. So the boulders could be, the size of a soccer ball. It could be as big as a Mini Cooper, and you don't want to get hit by one. It's the luck of a draw thing. It's not like, the best climbers in the world get hit by a boulder. It's going to kill the best climber along with the worst. And you're roped up, so the whole rope team gets knocked off the mountain. You don't want to get hit by one. And you got to get through this section quickly. So my buddy Tiger is usually the guy taking pictures and making videos and things like that. And that's where you go, dude, put the camera away and let's get through this section safely. You got to go fast and light. And so we did that at Be More Organic as well. When I came up with the idea in October of 2009, and then we were literally on shelf August 1st, 2010. So within 10 months of me coming up with this silly idea, we were launching. And so what we did, we hired a dairy scientist in Vermont. And so we said, here's what we want. He'd formulate it in his lab and he'd fellow express it to us. And we'd taste it and we'd go, it's too chalky, too much mango, not enough of this. And this would go back and forth. And then after several times in several weeks, I had enough. I saw the storm coming. I saw the clouds off in the distance. I knew weather was coming in. I knew that high protein and no added sugar was going to be big. And so I wanted to be ahead of Kellogg's. I wanted to be hot at General Mills. I wanted to be hot ahead of Pepsi and Coke. So I wanted to get out there and get down safely. I wanted to be on shelf before those guys could take my shelf space. And so my wife is going, I think we need to change this. I'm like, no, let's launch this thing. Let's go. It's time to get out of camp. And, you know, it doesn't taste great, but we'll fix it when it comes out. And we did, you know, it didn't taste terrible, but we fixed it along the way. We tinker with it, and it turned out to be a pretty good tasting product. And again, we were the first one in all those stores, Publix, Kroger, Whole Foods, Wegmans, because we went fast and light. And the third thing that I learned in the mountains that I applied to my startup was get comfortable being uncomfortable. And so that's important because we're so comfortable in our lives in 2021. And you know, I've been giving this talk, as you guys know, for a couple of years pre-COVID, and then COVID hits, and we're like, oh, this is awful. I've been stuck inside watching Netflix for 13 months. You know, you've all heard the joke that's, you know, our grandparent generation went over abroad to fight the Nazis to keep us safe, but we can't stay home and watch Netflix to keep them safe. And it was so hard for Americans to shelter in place. And I'm not taking it was hard, and to watch our grandparents suffer, it's all difficult, but it really hopefully woke some of us up going, you know, things aren't that bad in my daily life. And this was a tough situation, and now I learned something from it. It's not too dissimilar from the Navy SEALs, right? The Navy SEALs, they take these poor kids during BUDS training, they wake them up in the middle of the night, and these kids are skinny kids, you know, are scared. They take them and they throw them in the ocean. It's dark, it's cold, they're obviously wet, they're tired, they're hungry, and they're getting water up their nose. And after hours of this torture, they drag them out of the water and make them roll around in the sand. And now they've got sand where they didn't know they had body parts. Why? They get comfortable being uncomfortable. You know, my neighbor, I watch him when it's cold, and he starts his Jeep, so it's, you know, it's running, and God forbid he walks out and he sits in a cold Jeep for 2 minutes. And my other neighbor, I'm like, hey, Mark, how's your new car? Oh, I love it. Got heating steering wheels. Like, God forbid, you know, we either put on gloves or we get our hands cold for 2 minutes. We're just so comfortable being uncomfortable. And I'm the first one that loves the creature comforts, you know, and that's one of the reasons that I climb, is because I hate the cold. I love using a good clean restroom. I can't sleep in a tent. I can't sleep at altitude. I need a good solid 8 hours. And so for me, climbing is so difficult. But it taught me to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Any night that I'm able to lie down in my bed, I'm thankful. And every single night after some of these climbing, because of all these climbs, I'm appreciative. I feel the comfortable bed under my body. I feel the pillow under my head. I know that there's a good, clean bathroom 10 feet away from me, as opposed to climbing out over my buddies through this tent out into the sub-freezing temperatures. I'm going to play a very short video. There's not much to hear. What you're going to hear is the wind, and so just give that a listen.
Just sipping on the coffee, checking out the view, listening to the wind. We heard all night last night. There we got it. This is what Kelly was doing though. He was snoring. That's right.
So that kind of gives you a sense of what it's like to camp at Cathedral Gap at about 11,000 feet. You got thin air. I think that's my buddy Tiger relieving himself down there. The wind's blowing, making a mess of himself, and it's hard to sleep with that wind and tent shaking like that. We get comfortable being uncomfortable. When I was climbing the highest point in the lower 48, Mount Whitney, it's 18,500 feet. I kind of spent too much effort getting to the summit. I hadn't been training properly because I was busy at work with the startup. Jen couldn't train anymore, so I wasn't able to work out with her. I was getting older, so it was hard for me to work out. And so I wasn't in great shape going up this mountain, and I'd spent too much gas going to the summit, which is a mistake, but I kind of pushed myself through it. Coming down, I was just spent. And I didn't know how to get back to camp. I was getting a little delusional. My buddies kept lying to me. Okay, and it's just around this corner, and I keep walking around the corner. And sure enough, we weren't at camp. Come on, guys, where is it? And after hours, I just kept putting one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, and kept going. And I also wrote my son's name on one water bottle and my daughter's name on the other water bottle. And just every time I took a sip, I knew why I was climbing. Not to get to the summit, but to get down safely, to see my kids again, to see my family. And so I just kept putting one foot in front of the other, because lying down in that snow and dying wasn't an option. And I was able to do that because I was comfortable being uncomfortable. I knew I could push myself without any sleep, without any food, without any creature comforts. I could make it home. And so that was, again, what we did at Be More Organic, because there was another yogurt company. I told you that yogurt was going to be big, drinkable yogurt, and another guy started up at the same time I did. Better funded, he had more experience in the industry, and I just think he was going to kick my butt because we were in the same market area. He was in DC, and sure enough, when things got tough, he gave up. He quit. So he completely missed this big, huge wave because he couldn't get comfortable being uncomfortable. When an entrepreneur, I'm talking to entrepreneurs, it's awesome. I love talking to you guys because it's so hard to look at your spouse and say, guys, cash flow's tight, not bringing a paycheck home this week. Or saying to your employees, gosh, I don't have the cash this week to pay you. Can I pay you next week? Or talking to a supplier and saying, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna be late on my payment. Can you still ship this product? There's so many difficult things being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, that you've got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's one of the things that I think climbing afforded me. This is Mount Shasta. Mount Shasta is a bull mastiff. We were sitting on this February 26, 2008. We were sitting in the lobby of the doctor's appointment, knowing we were going to get diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and we're sitting there just waiting for this hammer to drop on us. And I got an email on my phone saying, "Congratulations, your puppy's been born." And at the same time, the woman said, "Okay, Mrs. Berger, the doctor will see you now." We named the dog Mount Shasta, the last mountain Jen ever climbed. And damn it, MS was going to be something positive in our lives. Also, I think I mentioned that the doctor said we couldn't have kids. And I did mention that I wrote my kids' names on the water bottles. My wife's mission is to raise healthy kids. So we made the decision to adopt two of the most beautiful kids you've ever seen from Ethiopia. My son Bronson on the left and my daughter Joss on the right. The biggest gifts we've ever seen. From pain, we found passion. From pain, we found passion. From pain, we found passion. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?
Jeez, wow, amazing.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Andrew.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That was so powerful to me on so many different levels. And it makes me think of not only how amazing you are and your story is, but the story, I mean, it's hard to put into words. It actually makes me think of a speech that Jim Valvano gave about the 3 things you should do every day. You should laugh, you should think, and you should cry. So you've made a very complete day for me today. Thank you very much. And I am comprehensively soft, and I need to find my why. Thank you.
Hopefully your group will help you go through that.
Andrew, that was awesome. Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions for Andrew?
Okay. Okay, a quick one if I can. So before you found your why, did you have any mirage whys, like where you thought this is my why, and then you realized maybe that wasn't it? Like, what did that process look like for you, Andrew?
It's tough not having a why. It's, you wake up, you kind of feel like you're kind of rudderless. And so I didn't have any false whys. I feel like I was, I think I kind of had there's a vision. A mission is different than a vision, right? I wanted to achieve all these things, but until you have a why, it's kind of hard to get to that vision. And so I kind of wandered aimlessly on the way to that vision without having a mission. That makes things more challenging. So I didn't. And I was able to, what I do is I triangulate. I kind of see 3 different things from 3 different directions. And I said, put that together. And that's what happened after I met somebody who talks about wellness. Then my people got sick, and in the trip to Iceland, boom, my triangulation and my why appeared. So I always kept my eyes open and traveled and kept aware, and not until these 3 points hit did I figure it out.
Oh, thank you.
That's great.
Incredible story. So what do you have next? Where do you go from here?
I've got to go to the dentist. So I've developed a really cool sub-why, which is helping people understand they need a why, right? And I'm not necessarily a consultant that does that. That's just not what I do. And I'm just educating people the importance of it. And so I'm now the director of mission for something called Ryan Snacks. And I'm not going to sleep until I've got a cure for MS and breast cancer.
Wow.
It's awesome. I mean, both 2 terrible diseases that affect a lot of people in our organization and in our lives. So we're here to support you, Andrew.
Thank
So
you.
let us know what your next event is, and we'll be there to support it for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a great afternoon. Good luck.
Jim's got a quick question. It looks like, sorry.
Yeah, no, Andrew, your story is very compelling, and it would have been easy for you to say, poor me. And it would have been easy for you to say, I'm owed by society. What made you change that? What do you think is inside of you that has made you want to do what you've done? What is it? Is it anything?
I think it's 2 things, because I spent a lot of time thinking about that, because I watch other people and I get frustrated and like shaking in my car. And very, frankly, with this group, I watch my kids. They were coming from one of the poorest places on earth. I mean, Ethiopia has a per capita of a fraction of the US, and they're, I didn't get my iPad time today. I'm like, and so it's frustrating. So it's hard for me. And I think part of it, I realize is I'm hardwired. My grandmother, she suffered horribly in her life. And my dad did the same thing. And they always were cheery. They never complained. They never said, woe is me. So I think I'm very lucky to inherit that outlook. But I watched them. I watched my grandmother suffer. She went blind and deaf and died a horrible, torturous death from cancer. My dad, his mother died, and his father left him when he was 5 years old, and his wife died. But he never said, woe is me. It was like, he was sick. He was, oh my God, I had the best day ever. I had the best meal. And he told me this great story that I'm not sure if I ever shared with you, Jim. So my mom died. So his wife died. There's 2 young kids that I told you about. And then back in, you remember back in New York in the 60s, you had an elevator operator that took you up and down. They just pushed the buttons, right? He's riding the elevator. He's depressed, literally depressed from all this experience. And he told me the story that I've grown up with this story that he got in the elevator operator, and he said, Monday morning to the operator, said, "How's your day?" "Oh, terrible. It's so stressful. The Smiths are moving out on the 12th floor, and the Joneses are moving in on the 3rd, and it's Monday, and I got all these people." We all have our stress points. We all have it. I don't care who you are. And so, because my story isn't the worst story in the world, but it's relative. And so my pain is relative to anybody else's, and I've never forgotten that story.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. That's awesome. Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And, we're here to, help you out down the road. So let's keep in touch, and if there's anything that we can do, and jump on LinkedIn. And
I'm the first one to ask for help, so
yeah,
Okay.
I'm always
How can we help you, Andrew? What can we do?
Spread the word, get people, hopefully people to buy copies of the book. And then I'm obviously doing some professional keynote speaking. So if you know anybody looks for a speaker, let me know.
do you do
Yeah, but
events or anything like that, Andrew?
I just get hired to do events, so I don't have my own events.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Do you have a website for the speaking engagements? Or
Not yet.
no?
Well, I sort of do. I have a sub. I can give you, yes, it's a sub thing on another website, so I can give you that. I'll pass it along. You give me every 6 months, and I always ask you, I can help anyway, Jim. So I'm going to take you up on it. That's how I got here today.
Get that intern working for you, Andrew. Come on,
She's good.
figure that out. She's smart.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Okay.
guys.
Thank you so much, Andrew. We really appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Hey, Andrew, nice seeing you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Marnie, we have a segue into the poll. Can you throw that up, please?
Yes, sir.
That was the most compelling story I have ever heard in my life.
It's very moving.
Holy cow.
You should see when he does it in person. I have to say, Zoom is a lot harder. When he does it in person, it's even more so, but yeah.
What a story. Oh, whoa.
Yeah, I've been around him a good bit, and I had no idea. Geez, he was. I knew he had some bumps in the road, but nothing that significant. And he's definitely pretty fantastic. So it's great.
So is his wife still alive?
He is, yeah.
He actually also took his wife in a custom wheelchair, if you want to call it that, up 10,000 plus foot mountain, and had other people help carry her
Wow.
up the mountain. And it took them twice. They failed once and then they did it again. Just crazy.
Yeah, amazing.
I
It's
knew it-
amazing what you do when you have to do it, or
yeah,
you're driven to do it. You don't really realize what you're able to do until you're put in a position to have to perform.
I knew his sister a little bit, and all that tragedy. So I was kind of in that wave a little bit. That's how I knew him. Okay, Marty, what's the results? Everybody
Yeah,
vote?
the poll is up. We have 12 out of 15 people who voted. I wouldn't mind 1 or 2 more individuals if possible. All right, cool.
We good?
Yep, we have 14. Yep, 100%. Thank you. I'm gonna end the poll and share the results, guys.
Let's do it.
The alternating looks like it's the most popular. Do you see it, Kiefer?
I do. I do.
The only problem with that is, I know Kevin and I, well, me, I'm challenged with where to meet in person. We don't have access to the conference room anymore that we were using. So I put it out to my group to give it some thought as options. So if anybody has any ideas.
The library is available?
I don't know about 7:30 in the morning.
Excellent
And then
point.
everybody's gotten used to rolling out of bed and hopping on at 7:30 in the morning. So I don't know if they're going to want to meet in person and drive across town or, wherever they're coming from. So I don't know.
And we're still wearing jammy pants.
Yeah, from the top up, you look professional, right? So, yeah. So I don't know. I'm challenged with just finding a location. I would be game to do it every other, or maybe to do more social things every other month, where those who want to meet in person would come out for a happy hour or maybe a lunch somewhere,
Or a coffee house. I mean, Baltimore Tea or somewhere like that. It's going to be opening up soon, and
Baltimore Coffee and Tea Company.
they're not
Right
open
there.
yet.
Yeah,
right
but
there.
they wouldn't hold, 15 people.
You think you'd have 15 people that would actually come?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, we have a big conference room. It just depends on how many people you're talking about.
Mhm.
Hey, Deborah,
I really don't know. Yes,
how are you, by the way?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, thank you. I know you were at the Ashland Cafe one day this week. They hold breakfast meetings and have that room available.
That's a great place.
And I know other organizations that have breakfast meetings there that they serve breakfast for, with or without food.
So you can just use it? Is there a fee to use it?
Now we're starting to get above my pay grade. I just know that,
I'll check it out.
if you can order breakfast sandwiches for everybody, and I'm sure they'd be happy. I'm sure they're not just going to do it for free,
Mhm.
but
Because they have that large area they built a few years ago
correct. And
that I don't think is open during, I think it's just for like when they have a band or a Friday night activity.
That's where we were the other night. Yeah, that's.
you might
the
want to
only
look
place.
into that.
Mhm. That's a good idea.
transaction.
Thank you. I will.
It's a great idea.
That is a good idea.
A little far from Lutherville though, but yeah, I mean, that's definitely an option. We'll sort that out. We're having a board transition meeting on the 21st.
Mhm.
And we're going to go through some ideas that we have. We're going to maybe turn the monthly momentum meeting into a virtual meeting. So we'll roll that out to everybody once we kind of determine what the new administration is going to do moving forward and their platform and all that kind of good stuff. So no pressure,
Hey,
Jeff.
Kiefer, we have one more poll. I didn't know if you wanted me to put it up. It's when would we like to make this change? Would you like me to post that poll as well, or you think?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna launch it now, guys.
This is a polling situation.
This is what I do.
Okay, boom.
Almost there, guys. Two more.
Richard, are you okay?
I beg your pardon?
I said, are you okay?
I'm perfect. Why?
I just want to make
Don't
sure.
I look perfect?
You do look perfect. I love the background. It's very cute.
That's it. I
All right,
need all the
guys.
help I can get, so the good background makes me look better.
That's it. Me too.
We have 14 out of 15, so I'm gonna end the poll and share the results. All right, September, y'all. It's when you
I like
prefer to make a change.
Okay. Or sooner.
Mhm.
That's cool. Okay, good. Gav, there you go. There's some direction for you. Anybody else have anything they want to talk about? Kevin, you good? Uh-oh.
Kevin, you're muted.
I just want to say thank you again for all that Kiefer's done. It's, it's heavy lifts as group leaders, but as president and as president during COVID, which is unprecedented. He just done an amazing job navigating through to this point. I mean, I can only imagine what you would have done if we didn't have COVID. I mean, so I just want to say thank you very much.
Hey, it's been an honor.
Maybe we should
Thank
give
you.
him an extra year to see what he can do.
I had 6 months. I had 6
Hopefully you won't be far.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna be far. I think we got some pretty cool stuff in store for Bond moving forward, and Kevin's definitely going to be the energy to take it to the next level. So it's going to be exciting, and we have a great board, and it's people like everybody on this call, make it worthwhile. So it's good stuff. Cool. Everybody have a great Thursday, and we'll see you next month in some form or fashion.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you all. Be
Thank
well.
you.
Take
Too.
care. everybody. Have a
Thank
great
you.
weekend.
Hi, guys.
Great to see everybody.
Bye.